Greetings, Summoners! Welcome back to Sky Kingdoms. Today we're doing a video on getting a head start. For all you early kingdoms just joining us, or are about to join us because of this video, we're just starting Sky Kingdoms. It's a third or fourth day in, and a lot of the community members are joining in because it's just like Ark of War. It's made by 7 Pirates. It's more, it's got a more magic-y, cartoony feel to it. But essentially, it's the same game with some of the fixed dynamics. I mean, not a lot of major changes. The early game meta, so it's like starting over. So, like, gear is far more useful. Gems go a lot longer, go further. You get to choose which buildings you want to give you resources because they have the same idea of, like, gas, electricity, and cash. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about getting ahead. And what that is we need to prepare for the meta shift. So the early game meta is always the rock, paper, scissors. Infantry beats air mage. Mage beats mech beats infantry. But as the meta shifts, the dodge mechanisms become really valuable, and people start loading up on attack damage, so you want to avoid taking damage at all. Right now, we're in the early game of the meta, where it's really strange because it seems like simply high tier dominates everything, but and tier suppression has been implemented. So I want to get people farming and moving in the right direction so they get ready for that meta shift, so we can take control of the server. First thing you need to know is that dodge meta gear is pretty much the same. It's just farmable gear, and you got to explore to get it. Luckily, you can do it at level 1. You can farm this gear. You just need the original starting troops they give you. So what you want is to get some dragon helmets, which give you total dodge. These are the equivalent of a dodge pants. These are the helmets or the pants. So this would be like Gale. Well, not like Gale. Gale would be the legendary version of it. But it's a good start to get your dodge rolling, and then when you hit level 11, you can actually craft the Genesis helmet. So that is priority number 1, getting your dodge pants. Then priority number 2 is getting your Thalamus, which you can't wear until Smith level 14. So that's the one you want. You want to get, Thalamus 6, or dodge, and then you lose your crit accuracy. There's another dodge Thalamus as well. But remember, we're going to be relying on guaranteed hit skills to deal with the dodge meta when it comes around. All the other legendary gears are the same. You'll want to get that as well, but the absolute priority is farming helmets and then the Thalamus. But in the meantime, once you get your dodge pants, you'll be able to farm for your chest piece. I think the best chest piece in the game right now is the Enchanted Armor 1 instead of Enchanted Armor 2, because you can end up getting a maximum of 15% stats on this one, and the average stat is 7.5 plus 4 is 11%. As opposed to the average stat on this, where it's more like, sorry, that's the wrong one. There we go. The average stat on that is 10.5. So slightly better to get the HP and defense bonus stats because that median is also higher. But anyway, there's more conversation of that to be had. It doesn't matter if you went one way or the other. It's not that big of a deal. It's literally 1% or 2%, or 1% or 2%. All right, so let's talk about farming Plume Helmet Plus. That's the tough one. You need to farm helmets 1 and 2, and in order to do so, you've got to get wooden helmets 1 and 2, and then wooden helmets 3. Wooden helmets 3 can be gotten from chapter 190. Well, here's what I would do. Here's what I've been doing. Remember, your commander energy refills every 30 minutes. So you can take your, I should have done that first. Okay, you want to take the original 3 tier 3 airship they start you with, the 3 shamans. Everyone gets this at level 1. They kind of help you rush through the early explorers to get the resources you need to level up real quick. So take those troops and just autofill whatever comes in behind it. The game has a weird mechanic built in that it autofills your troops to the tier 3 airships so people don't mess up, so they realize not to fall behind. I have my tier 3 airships out front. Anything in the back row will be fine. You should put some gear on them because you can lose troops occasionally in the 120 Explorer. So that's the gear I have on, just the basic legendary gear. You don't need good gear, but any gear is fine. Alright, so what you do is you go to 118, which is what you should use to be leveling up. You don't lose troops in 118 with the tier 3 in the front. And this gives you wooden helmet. Now, it gives you magazines as well, or medals. And they also give you wooden swords, but you're not going to use those. Wooden helmet 1, right? And then also, and then 120 is wooden helmet 2. Wooden helmets 1 and 2 are going to be doing the heavy lifting. And what I mean is literally just explore. And you've got stamina as energy, so I have 9. If you rush through it, you can do it real fast. Every 4 to 6 hours, you should do this with all 8 of your commanders. If you do 1 release 10, you'll get a ton of commanders to farm with. So remember, so that's the way you do it. Let's handle that before we go into anything else. That'll get you the gear to start crafting the plume helmets, and the plume helmets are the pants, like I said, and that'll get your dodge going. When you do finally get enough, you can buy all that gear. But that's what I've done. I was lucky on my first one I crafted. It took me a day to craft it, and it was a perfect roll. I leveled it up 2 or 3 times, and it's an 18% dodge. That's nice. Once I get the Thalamus, when I get this guy to A class, he'll be having somewhere around 50% dodge, which is really nice because the meta is still shifting. It hasn't quite gone to the dodge meta yet. High tier seems to have a great advantage. No one has really high damage gear yet, so it's really fun. It's like it's a really early version of Ark. No one's really high up yet. It's only a 2 or 3 week old game, maybe a month old, not even. So that pretty much covers it. That's where we're going with the meta. Farm those items like crazy. Remember, like I said, there's only like 16 commanders in the game, and if you do 1 release 10, you get a ton of commanders to level up and farm with. So start farming those dodge pants. Find out who your guild leader is. We're trying to get a couple players that are spending hard and going for it to get a little help from the rest of us. Donate 10%, 20% whenever you log off. If they're needing items, anything, spend a few minutes farming them. Eventually, we'll be able to garrison our own forts and start figuring this out. So, one more thing for all of you that stuck around this long, I want to show you a replay from last night. I've been trying to. There we go. Been trying to get some replays. Oh, perfect. So here we go. So this is a Tier 2 100 leadership fight. Airships versus walkers. And this is Rocket, which is me on the left. That's Mephisor. He is Rocket, the 220% ignore tier suppression, buff damage or buff defense skills. Versus Thor on the right, who is playing Medusa with 100 leadership as well, exactly, of Tier 2 versus Tier 2. So Rocket versus Medusa. Similar gear, Tier 2 versus Tier 2, 100 leadership, fair fight. Not a lot of dodge yet. Oh man, he has a lot of dodge. He's got his first Genesis helmet. Nice, dude, that looks really good. I don't have any guaranteed hit, but it doesn't seem to affect me because he doesn't have enough dodge yet to kind of go over that barrier. So, totally equal armies. I have the rock, paper, scissors advantage. And of course I should win this. It's pretty much a fair fight. There's my barrier. Watch this barrier. Remember, this can trigger on both front and back if they hit me. So here's 9, and out. Kills 1 troop. So not bad. I mean, good value there out of barrier. It's just really hard to get it to trigger. The 40% guaranteed hit, high damage meta hasn't come around yet because that gear isn't in the game yet and people aren't dodging yet. But it's coming, and that's what I want people to prepare for. If this game plays like Ark, which every indicator is pointing it does, the dodge meta, guaranteed hit meta will come soon, and it's important that you're ready for it. There's only a few guaranteed hit skill commanders. Watch the commander overview video that I did earlier this week. That'll give you a rundown of who to start with. But look how slow everything is. But it is reminiscent of when you are a low-level Ark against low-level PvP. So it does feel like defense and HP is more of a thing. It feels like everything's way more tanky. But I don't want to get the wrong idea and think they built this game differently because it doesn't. I have no great reasons to believe so. So be mindful of that. Keep watching replays. Keep your eye on it. You guys have got years of Ark experience to relate it to. Share me any relevant replays, and I'll do the same. So hopefully we can get caught up and have some fun with this game. So that pretty much covers it, guys. Happy farming. Try to farm all your commanders 2 or 3 times a day. Load up. Load that auction house up. Start sharing, trading, talking. We've started our 3rd alt guild, FGT. So if you haven't joined CHA or SKK, feel free to try to join those or switch around. We're all jumping around the guilds. I'm in FGT today. All the guilds are the main guilds until this settles down. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. And remember, peace is bad for business.